Hello and welcome to our very own Sunday night Split 2 broadcast live here from the city of Kent in the United Kingdom and Brands Hatch. I am Braden Martin and I'm joined with my Locked On iRacing podcast co-host Peter Wilco Wilkinson. How you doing, Wilco?
Yeah, good mate. Yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. You looking forward to seeing some second split action? Our other iRacing podcast host, Mr. Alex McKellar, is over at the top split. We're just the lowly second split broadcasters over here.
I thought you'd come up with a more fancy name. I heard you struggle to get through that little intro, but I threw Second Split Radio out there, but then we're actually live, so it doesn't really work. But yeah, I'm keen to watch what Vernie and Mites can do in this monster strength of field that we're seeing for race 2. 4 splits tonight, and this is split 2, the second best of the rest.
Well, I am a bit concerned. We've already seen Vernie around once. Is that signs of things to
I
come?
did notice that. Locked on cars doing what locked on cars do, mate. That's
All
what they
right,
do.
let's have a look through the grid tonight. So, as qualifying gets underway, we've got car number 1, Antonio Sanchez Lerma. Car number 2, Hector Baluga. Car number 3, Masahiko Nagata in a nice bright livery there. Car number 4, Akira Nakajima. Car number 5, Ivan Blanco Fernandez. Car number 6 is Paul Wilson. Car number 7, we have Joachim Osbeck from Scandinavia. Car number 8 is Shinichi Otsu. Car number 9 is our very own Nathan Verney. And would you look at that photo there of Nathan Verney? Is that not quality or what? And car number 10 is Mark Lay, who seems to be in a spot of bother at the moment off on the side of the track there.
That would happen now. I would love if I could get SDK timing to put this in number order, not time order or some other weird order. But we're going to go number 11. Is Adrian I don't know, Muro. There we go. This is the whole fun of tonight. 12th is the Australian Ryan Patelli, coming fresh off his win from second split last week. We'll be very interested to see how he goes tonight. Alexander Matilla. We've also got Gary O'Brien, who's not in the server yet. We just watched him in the previous split, sort of letting a few cars by as he's going around the track, which is really good to see. Matteo Gambarini in car number 15. Locked On own, or sorry, should I say Black Sheep Racing's Locked On's own Jeremy Bush in 16th there. Another Aussie driver. The Japanese driver in 17 is Ryunosuke Hazawa?
Not bad,
No,
not
it's
bad.
Ozawa. Uh, it is Ozawa, yeah. 18th is another Locked On lads, brethren, Matthew Mites, making his Sunday night's debut for the first time in a long time. Anyway, not debut, but comeback, I guess. Carlos Fondo in 19th. And the last one is another Australian, Jace Borres, or Jason Borres. So, welcome everyone to a very fun-filled night. A lot more Aussies than I thought there would be, which is good for my pronunciation.
Yeah, as the first bunch of laps start to come in now, Adrian Muro putting it on provisional pole for the time being, although he has been just beaten by his Iberian counterpart, Ivan Fernandez. As we see the time starting to come in, and there's an off track for Antonio Lerma, in fact, which isn't going to help his cause for his second lap, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I was having a bit of a chat to one Nathan Verney before the race, and he was quite excited. He got a 1:38.5 in practice because he got towed around by the guy over from top split at the moment. So probably going to take out top split. The Sunday Night Lights Championship this week, the guy. But Verney slots himself into sixth at the moment, which is pretty good to see. Only 6/10 off the top spot, but there's a very, very small gap there in between sort of fifth through to eighth there. So it'll be interesting to see how the second laps play into it. Jeremy Bush jumping up to ninth as well. What's your prediction, Braden? Come on, this is the first time you've seen second split. Who's going to win? Who's going to get pole? What's the results?
Yeah, I think this one's definitely one that's very open. You know, the times are really close at the moment. As you can see, they're just a second separating the top 13 as Matthew Mites puts it into the wall. Oh, no. That will not help him in his qualifying, unfortunately. As
In
Nathan
your
Verney.
practice all this week, right? How much is that second lap important? How many seconds? Or how many tenths of a second do you get out of that second lap, you reckon?
Yeah, quite a bit. It's probably worth, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, depending if you manage to hook it up or not. But yeah, it's definitely worth a little bit.
So we could see Matthew might drop out of the top 10 there. We've just had Adrian go to the top, or no? Well, Brian Patelli up to third with a very good second lap as well.
Yeah, and Fernandez has put 6 tenths between himself and second at the moment, so that could be very telling come race time.
Yeah, if that's a great time for Fernandez, that's borderline on what you'd
Oh,
see in
Nathan Verney. Sorry to interrupt you, Peter, but Nathan's put in a good qualifying time. Who is this?
That's it. Front row of the grid for young Nathan Verney, and not many cars left down the track, really. He's got Lay. Oh, there we go. Beloga just finished his. Lay's out there. Hototsu. Fondo and Osbeck. That's about it.
Yeah, we got Mark Lay, and then we've got Osbeck
do?
and Fondo. You're right. The last two, I think, to put in their laps as Fondo's about to come across the line. Can he do any better than the 17th he's currently in? It doesn't look like he's going to because he's slowing right down.
Yeah, no, that doesn't look very appetizing. And Osbeck will be interesting. I don't expect him to jump up there, being car number 18. But just for him to get a couple more spots there, it'll be very handy at the start.
Yeah, so it's looking like Nathan Verney might have put himself onto the front row of the grid, which would be a great result for him and could see him take it right up to the Iberian of Ivan Fernandez. Unfortunately, Matthew Mites has dropped out of the top 10 like you made note of earlier. He's currently sitting in P11.
Yeah, so even just having a look at that interesting top sort of 5 there. We've got car number 5 and 9, 11, 12 and 15 taking up the top 5 spots on the grid. Car number 1, Antonio, has not got a time, which is very interesting. Last the first challenge, I assume, is what we see. He's just leaving the pits now, but there's 30 seconds left, so it's not going to happen. And then he turns around and stops, realizes it's all done.
That's it. So it won't be long and we'll be able to take a look at the grid, but 25 minutes around Brands Hatch here tonight. A nice 37 degrees air temperature. So it's a nice warm one. Sorry.
Warmer than an Aussie car the other week.
Yeah, most certainly. And the former Grand Prix track, obviously not used as a Grand Prix track anymore, is going to host to hopefully what will be a really, really interesting race. So let's have a look at the grid. So lining up on pole position is Ivan Fernandez, who had a 0.2 of a second gap to our very own Locked On iRacing Nathan Verney. From Adrian Muro, Ryan Portelli, Matteo Gambarini, Masahiko Nagata, Hector Beluga, Paul Wilson, Jeremy Bush, and Mark Lay rounding out your top 10.
Then young Matthew Mites did drop out of that to number 11. Alexander Matilla in 12th. Akira Nakajima in 13th. Shinichi Otsu in 14th. Rinosuke Hazawa is, I think I'm still butchering that, 15th. Jason Boras in 16th. Carlos Fernando in 17th. Jassimi Osbeck, as we saw there, didn't improve, got to 18th. Antonio Sanchez Lerma with no time on the board, 19th. And Gary O'Brien, once again, no time on the board, starting in 20th.
All right, as they all begin to grid up here, and we're ready to make our way off. The lights go red.
Here we go. Floor it. Green.
And as they say on the top split, the green lights mean go. A good start by all of the drivers here as Ivan gets right across and Nathan Verney tucks in behind him. Hopefully we're going to get a nice clean turn 1.
Tell you what, Matthew Mites had a gun start, but then couldn't go anywhere in the middle of the pack.
And so far, so good. So well done to all the drivers getting through cleanly. A really tricky first turn to attack. as we make our way back through the pack here. And it's a big snake of skippies like we like to see all the way back and nose to tail all the way through this first sector as we move into the long, fast back section. And Nathan Verney is...
a wobble there at the back.
Yeah.
Akira just didn't get momentum. He's holding up that back crew now. He's a few of them got a run on him.
Yeah, and we're 3 wide.
Back quick. It's going to be a very interesting next corner.
Oh,
Right-hander.
oh, and there we go. They're off.
Gary.
Oh no, that is not what you want to see.
So that is Akira gone, and Shinichi as well. Both of them out. Oh, we've got also, oh no, locked on's very own Matthew Mites is off.
Oh no.
And he's out as well. So we've got 4 cars in the pits. Beluga as well was part of that little incident as well with Matthew Mites that we missed.
Let's go have a quick look at that incident involving Matthew Mites.
I'll tell you what, Brands Hatch did not disappoint.
Absolutely not. Now, we've missed it here, so let's try this one maybe instead. All right, let's see if this is the one. Going too wide through that second right-hander, and oh no.
Out on him.
Yeah. So the
Matthew Mites, innocent bystander, must I say right there?
Yeah, absolutely. The number 2 of Hector Beluga has just run really wide, unfortunately, and that's not good news.
Someone off in turn 1 as well. Right now, turn 1. I'm trying to find it now.
Is that Mark Lay, that possibly?
Yeah, I believe it is Mark Lay.
Let's go back and have a look at that one as well. So we've got Mark Lay here.
Oh, that doesn't look like a very good position to be in, does it?
No, so Jeremy Bush on his outside, already with a bent wing.
He's just lost it on his own.
It looks like he might have, Peter.
Oh, and then he's got a little bit of help from behind. They're
Oh.
both gone together in sympathy.
That's almost tandem drifting. It's almost tandem drifting style like you'd see down at Malala.
That is, Mark Lay and Antonio coming together. I don't think there's much Antonio could do there except for go out in sympathy. So they're well done. But we're back at the front here. Verney doing a very good job of sticking with Fernandez.
Ooh,
and I think this is what...
Sorry, off in the background was Matteo, or might have been actually Ryan Portelli, giving us a little bit of a fright as he tries to stick onto the back of this front pack of 3.
Tell you what, Jeremy Bush and Gary O'Brien, big move up 13 places. I don't know how that's worked. He has avoided every little bit of catastrophe and got out of it, has he?
Yeah, and he's got himself some space here as well, which is really good to see. He's got Jeremy Bush and a big pack behind him trying to chase him down. It'd be interesting to see if they can keep up with the UK&I driver.
He's definitely broken the draft there by the look of it too. So, actually no, Jeremy's just holding on ever so slightly.
You can take a look at the interval, and you can see that Jeremy is just a second behind at the moment. So
it is. It's just outside it, isn't it?
Very, very close.
Oh, hold on. We've got Jeremy's off, though. Jeremy's off.
Oh, no.
And he's almost taken out Antonio in the background. Oh, he's having a word too.
Let's have a look at that. So coming around turn 2 by the looks of it.
Matilla's not happy with the line Jeremy held with.
Oh, it's not turn 2, sorry.
This is the turn, but yeah, so Jeremy's drifted across and I don't know, Alexander didn't go with him. He just held his line.
Yeah. Oh,
maybe Jeremy's fault there, I think.
Yeah, it's a unfortunate incident there. We don't like to see that, but it happens. Back at the front, it looks like Verney and Fernandez have now put a bit of a gap between themselves and Adrian Muro. So the top 2 starting to escape, and they've broken the draft. So if Verney can be patient here and not force too much of an issue, they could be away.
Yeah, he's really just got to stick with him. No mistakes from here on out. If they hold this draft off, he's got obviously a podium, but a potential win. Just got to stick with him and make that move on the last lap. So where are these overtaking manoeuvres in Brands Hatch? I know you've done a bit of racing here. Where the places is Bernie going to look to overtake?
Yeah, so definitely getting a good run out of turn 1 is a big opportunity. If you get a good run out of turn 1, you can get up the inside into turn 2. As well as if you get a good run out of turn 4 onto the back straight, you can get up the inside and make a move before the first of the 3 right-handers, and that's probably your best bet. You can also get one into the last turn if you get a good run out of the penultimate turn. So there is a few overtaking places that you can get the job done, but they all rely on you getting a run out of the turn before. So you have to be really careful about how you set the person up.
Yeah, definitely. He's obviously also the easy one would be Fernandez to make a mistake here, but well, here we go. A little bit of movement back in there. Hazawa is making a move there on Jason Browers. This is where the pack racing's happening. 8, 9, 10. Paul Wilson's having a bit of a word on the radio, but yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11 seems to be the pack at the moment. They are pacing about 2 seconds a lap off the current leaders, but that's what pack racing does to you, I guess.
There is a little bit of a wild card in this little battle for position as well, with the car ahead of Hazawa being a lapped car. So it'll be interesting to see how how the group negotiates Shinichi Otsu as they make their way forward.
139.24.
Yeah, definitely.
And Nathan Verney just sets the fastest lap of the race.
Yes, these guys are almost half a second quicker than at least Morrow or Adrian. They've opened that gap right out now to second and it's borderline on a second. So it's 1.3 seconds. So it is starting to really blow out. Well, not blow out, but slowly increasing every lap. So
yeah, and
doing a really good job.
Gary O'Brien's got himself right up onto the back here of Nagata as well, by the looks of things. So he will be looking for 20th up to 5th if he can get the move done.
Wow. Just out of interest too, we were talking about Verney doing the fastest lap. Obviously not much difference to Fernandez in front of him, but Lerma, the car number 1, who's already been in a couple of incidents already, fighting back through, well, he started 19th up to 12th, but he did a 139.39 before, which is basically leader's pace at the moment. So look for him to jump on the back of that pack we were just talking about before with Osbeck and Browers and Hazawa, and he will definitely be up there fairly soon. So
Yeah,
just overtaking Shinichi as well, who's making way and letting the drivers pass, which is really good to see.
rocking that Aston Martin livery, certainly trying to make his way up the field. He'd be disappointed in his qualifying, as he definitely has the pace to be right up there at the front.
Yeah, these guys at the front are still 3 tenths quicker, 4 tenths quicker than everyone else on the track, except for himself. So it's good to see. A lot of personal best times coming in as the tyres are warming up. 139s are pretty much the standard now. That middle pack is definitely stuff going on. We've got O'Brien putting it on with Nagata here on the hairpin, and O'Brien holds it. Oh, gee. No room for Nagata there. But O'Brien makes it stick, but this has really brought Paul Wilson into it. If he's going to go down, he's not going to wait for the straight. He's going to really chuck it in there.
Absolutely.
And try and get the drive off the line, which I don't know whether he has, and I think Nagata's going to have that draft anyway from O'Brien and pull away, so maybe Paul should have maybe waited for get the run in.
Yeah, you almost got shuffled back 2 spots there, Nagata, but did really well to hold off the aggressive Paul Wilson. But that battle was definitely not over, that's for sure. And neither's this battle at the back here for 8th position at the moment. We've got Hazawa, Mr. Jason Browers, Osbeck, and Matilla all very, very close together. And on the back you can see there as well Antonio Lerma just trying to creep his way back up and get himself into this battle for 8th position.
Yeah, definitely. And just while we're watching up the front, Verney's now put almost 2 seconds on Morrow, so they're really pushing it out with Fernandez just getting into the 38s for the first time tonight with the fastest lap of the race, almost 0.4 of a second faster than Verney. So Verney is either going to do the fastest lap of the race this lap, or he's going to start worrying about that draft. But it's 0.4, 0.6 He's definitely in there. But let's have a look. I think Paul Wilson's going to have a dive down here in the hairpin yet again. Didn't quite make it stick, but this is letting O'Brien get away, which O'Brien is loving. Up 15 positions from last on the grid, and now has just about
Oh, no!
got,
In the background, sorry. I don't know who that was, but we saw, I think it was Ozbek, might have had a big off there.
yes, Ozbek is in the pits. He's been towed, so we will need to go back and have a check of that one out. I didn't see what happened.
Let's have a look there. See if we can find it. Oh. Oh, dear.
Oh,
Might need to just go back a little bit and see if we
just
can...
a little bit. I only saw the end result of that. I think he's lost it on his own, because if you put that tyre on the just outside the asphalt,
Yeah.
it really does. I did that multiple times in practice, and it's very hard to control. You either go off into the where he's going now, off across the track, or you go into the wall. He's done both. So well done on everyone for avoiding that mess. But yeah, that's unfortunately Ozbek. That's all on you. But Gary O'Brien here, it's 0.9 of a second here to Nagata. He's really working hard to break this draft, and Paul Wilson's doing his best to make that happen as well from behind. So yeah, Patelli's out there on his own, just done a really good time, 39.49. But these front runners, 38.47. Like I said, Nathan Verney, fastest lap of the race. A good 0.3 quicker than Fernandez then. But let's have a look back to Lerma. Lerma's still 39.2, so still half a second better than the field, the front runners. So at this stage, it's definitely their races to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very impressed by O'Brien though, and O'Brien has now broken the draft. He's a full second out from Wilson, because Wilson has got past Nagata, coming back onto the back straight before the triple right-handers.
Yeah, and can I say...
I know those names, but I don't.
Can I say, from the few races I've done here this week, it is quite easy to stay with someone when you're in the draft, but once you lose that 0.8 seconds and start to get out towards that 0.1, if you don't have the raw pace, you can see yourself dropping off really quickly, and I think that's what we've kind of seen with Muro at the front, now over 3 seconds back from Verney and Fernandez. And it's starting to happen with Paul Wilson and Gary O'Brien as well as they finish their battle. But it'll be interesting to see if Paul has the raw pace to stay with Gary O'Brien now.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just watching the leaders come back onto the front straight again, as you are. This is some of the closest times Verney's had to Fernandez. He's within 1 to 0.2 of a second on the back straight leading on, also the back part leading onto the main straight. So he's lapping really well, and he definitely has no danger at this stage of Fernandez getting away from him. Like I said, it's just going to be teeing him up for about 6 laps time. We're getting there. We're moving along very closely.
Yeah, and you can see there, looking at their lap times, 3.5 tenths, and then 2 tenths back.
Jason Perez has just taken the long route on a lap on corner 1 as well, and lost 2 positions to Lerma and Mattila, by the way. Did a bit of off-road dirt track driving. Now, I know Brands Hatch is a rally track now. That's not the most important line, best line to use for us, sorry.
Yeah, and he's managed to hook himself back onto the back of them, so hopefully with maybe some smoother lines, he'll be able to find his way back past and get those possessions back. Still up 5 positions overall, though.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's still a good result for him, especially being car number 20 in this field. So a little bit of an I-rating gain, just if he hangs where he is. So yeah, I'm trying to see. Look, at this stage, it's still that pack with Lerma and Mattila and Bros are the main ones. Now Nagata and Wilson have sort of had their little battle. That's starting to even spread out now as well. Yeah, race is just starting to get into that point of everyone's just where they're going to end up at this stage. And we've got a little battle here with Lerma and Mattila again. I think that is Mattila actually going backwards for some reason. Lerma has...
Yeah, we can have a look here. I think there might have been a bit of an off-track for Mattila. He's got it a bit crossed up coming into the penultimate corner. And
of the
yeah,
triples. Yep.
there you go. And he's got a bit sideways, almost Ben Snell-like, you might say, in that one there.
That's it. Okay, so that is obviously good for Lerma. Lerma's going to drive away here anyway. He was opening up that gap, as you can see, and he's definitely one of the fastest cars out there. It's just a shame he didn't put a original lap time in, and we could be seeing, I think, a three-way battle at the front. But once again, coming onto the home straight, Bernie's right up with Fernandez again.
Yeah, you see Fernandez starting to take those
spot.
defensive lines and really trying to keep him behind.
I think Fernie's got him lined up. I think he knows where he wants to be, and I feel like he's just got to get close enough here. Coming into this final turn will be the key. If he can really gun it out of there and get a little bit more momentum there, and he can either go around the outside or get that draft down the. I think he can get him around the outside at the last turn. I think Fernandez will definitely try and go low, to try and shorten it as best he can. But if Bernie's just got to be as close as he can, he's got to be right on his tail coming out of that final corner.
You can see there
Not that there's many straights on Brands Hatch, by the way.
No, there's lots of flat out sections, just not very straight.
Ooh, Rowers is having a few off tracks back in the field, coming onto the final track as well. In his little battle with Mattila. Mattila's going to get him here. Going into turn one, diving down the inside.
Gets it done. Bros looks like he's looking for that switchback, but can't quite find it.
No. That was all from the final corner. There was a bit of a check-up from Rowers coming out, and Mattila did exactly what I was talking about with Vernie. He just lined him up, took him down the inside, and that's all over. Got his position back, but I don't think he's going to get Lerma. Lerma is driving away right now. He's in the 38s as well. Actually lapping quicker than Vernie right now. There's a few people that's lapping quicker than Vernie and Fernandez. They're back out in the 39s at the moment, so I don't know whether that was some lap traffic or just a little bit battling or what, but they're just going about half a second slower than their best at the moment. So.
Yeah, Paul Wilson's managed to reel in Gary O'Brien here as well. Got it back down under half a second. So this little battle pack's starting to form as well. Gary O'Brien, Paul Wilson, Masahiko Nagata, and Ryan Osuki Hazawa. They're a little bit spread out, but they're all within draft of each other. So all it takes is a little wiggle here, and they can be right up on the back of each other.
That's not me just murdering his name. That's very well done, Brady. Well done. So how would you be Gary Bryan? I know you don't have this luxury of starting last and being 15 spots up. And I jokingly said last the first challenge. And do you just be happy with where you are, and especially with the sort of the I rating gain he's going to get out of tonight, the points gain you'll get out of tonight, or do you battle with Paul Wilson here, who just seems to be that little bit quicker than you?
Yeah, I think it's getting to that stage where you need to start making those decisions. They're not going to catch Ryan Patelli ahead. He's a good 8 seconds down the road. So I think you'd start to be thinking about, well, where can I take a defensive line if I should need to? And what you kind of hope is that Hazawa starts to put pressure on Wilson from behind, and you can once again try and skip away. So I would be definitely considering, that defensive line and being able to maybe slow Wilson down slightly and bring Nagata back into it. But you also run the risk of then Nagata being able to take a 2 for 1.
Well, this will be a 5-way pack within the next lap. I think Paul Wilson's all over the back of O'Brien now. He's making it. We've already seen him tonight make a few. He's not going to hold back from an overtake, and I think within the next lap he'll make a dive for it somewhere. But yeah, every time that he doesn't quite get there, Nagata is closing that gap in Hazawa. But then Lerma, one of the fastest cars on the track at the moment, is definitely going to be on their tail very soon as well. Yeah,
absolutely. The battle at the front is now involving some lap traffic, as we see there. Fernandez really trying to get all of the slipstream possible from the car that is being lapped, but they still managed to get through turn 1 safely. And Nathan Verney must be starting to think about now, how can I set up Fernandez to get this victory? And he'd be having in his mind a few spots where he'd like to get it done. He must know now where he's quicker, or where he can at least get a run, and he must be starting to think about when's the right time to make that move.
Yeah, we are on lap 12 or 15, not long to go at all now. Mattila and Broers are having a bit of a battle again on turn 1. Both of them have ended up off the track, and both of them come back on. And Broers has got back in front, but there was definitely a little bit of an excursion there. I believe by Mattila. Mattila was in front.
Yeah,
Mattila's
here he
gone
goes.
wide.
And Broers follows him.
Broers has just followed him. It is hard when you're following someone and they do miss their braking marker and go deep, and then you do the same. It's one of those things. But Broers has actually ended up better out of that little mistake. So
Yeah, they
very
continued
well
it
done,
on
mate.
through turn 2.
I saw some off tracks there from up front, Fernandez and Verney, but I think it was just them going a little bit too tight around the same corner at the same time. So
Yeah, Verney
nothing
here.
to report there.
Has dropped a little bit of time though. The interval's out to that 0.8. Oh, and Verney's
that's what it
just
is.
got the
So
grass there.
He went further out. That is scary stuff. I can tell you there. There's 3 results that happened from there. 2 of them are definitely not good.
And
he's now
whoa,
going very wide. Verney.
whoa.
I think he's cooked those tyres now.
Yeah.
Now, the problem's going to be he's lost that draft now, so everything we were wondering about whether he could do something to win the race is now just gone out the window, unfortunately. But he does have 3.6 seconds on the next place, which is the only upside to that. But we did have Lerma, as I just mentioned before, fastest lap of the race so far. Really getting close to once Hazawa gets onto this battle pack. I think Lerma's there right as well. So very good times being posted at the moment. Now, so actually, Fernandez just did a 1:38.42, but didn't count because of those off tracks we saw. Lerma's was a 1:38.44, so pretty much leader's pace last lap, except for Verney, who has now lost the draft, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's right. And Lerma, as you said, did do a 1:38.44, and he's still stalking the very back of Hazawa here. He's not quite within draft. It looks like the main battle. Oh, as he goes very sideways.
He does, doesn't he?
I wasn't expecting that.
Is this Ben Snell driving under his Smurf account? Is that what we're seeing?
It could be. It could be. Looks like this is going to be the battle here.
I'm very shocked Paul hasn't found a way to do it. And we came back. Gary had actually opened up a gap there. Oh,
very close.
Was very close. O'Brien is going to hold the inside line into turn 1. Is Wilson... Oh, he's drifting right across there. Wilson's going to have to pull out of this, which is going to pull Nagata right into this. And Nagata almost goes up the back of Wilson and almost loses the tail trying to stop, which is Hazawa is now in the draft, which means Lerma will be there very shortly. 5-way battle by the end of this lap. And a 1:38.47 from Fernandez up front with a 1:39.46. So that 1.5 second between Verney and Fernandez is not going to change much at this stage.
No,
but this is definitely where the battle is. This is 5th through to 9th. Yeah, and Nagata's the only one who's actually lost positions here overall. All these other guys are actually battling fairly well through the field.
Yeah, and you can see Nagata putting some pressure on Paul Wilson, and it has allowed Gary O'Brien to get a little bit further away. He did have the nose of Paul Wilson right on his gearbox just a half a lap before, but now it looks like it's going to be hard for Wilson to make the move before the end of this last lap.
I'm really shocked Hazawa hasn't really pulled up as much as he has. It's still about 1.7 seconds. Ryan Patelli's on the microphone, but that's nothing. That's just further down the track. But yeah, I really thought we'd be seeing Hazawa and Lerma both pull up by now, but even Lerma's not really pulling that distance up. Now, what's happened with Fernandez? And is that race over?
That is race over.
Oh, there you go. I was looking at 12 laps. It just all flew by. Congratulations. Look at that. There you go. Good win for Fernando. Good. Well done for Verney. Morrow.
Yeah, we've got a few little battles to the line here, but doesn't look as though any of them are going to change the current running position. Jeremy Bush rolling around the last turn, all in a bit of a gap of his own, unfortunately, after a few incidents in this race. Maybe a race
I
he'd
was
like to
already
have
out of the
back.
race, mate.
I was trying, you just wouldn't stop talking.
Yeah, my bad. My bad.
And Matthew Mites has managed to get past Gambarini with the cars that were lapped, so he's managed to get himself back up to 14th after a horrid start, you'd probably say.
Okay, so do you want me to drag up some interviewees?
Let's just get the race results done first, and then we can most certainly
Oh, I've
drag up
not
a
done
couple
that
of
yet.
these. Come on, I got to wait for the race to
these
actually finish,
amateurs.
mate.
Is it? There you go.
All right.
You got to do fancy buttons now. Look at this. Is it going to work?
It will hopefully. Just give me a little bit of time, and we'll hopefully get an official race results put up once everyone has got across the line, which they have not quite yet. There we go. We should now have some race results. So, the second split of Sunday Night's Lights this week is taken out by Ivan Fernandez, 1.5 seconds back to our very own Nathan Verney, which I'm sure we'll hear from in just a moment. Adrian Muro, it rounds out the podium from Ryan Portelli, Gary O'Brien, who was up 15 spots, Paul Wilson, Masahiko Nagata, Ryonosuke Hazawa, Antonio Lerma, and Alexander Matilla round out your top 10.
Then we got Jason Borers in 11th, Mark Lay in 12th, the one and only Jeremy Bush in 13th, followed by that little sneaky 14th position for Matthew Mites over Matteo Gambarini in 15th, Akira Nakajima in 16th, Jasimi Ozbek. I've said it many times tonight, but I still can't get it right. 17th, Carlos Fondo in 18th. Sinchi Hosetu, it's a murder, in 19th. And Hector Balerga, who had that battle and came off worse for wear with Matthew Mites, rounds out the 20th position.
All right, should we get some these locked on lads up here?
No. Let's just go down to them. That's probably going to be easier. Let's just get all of them at once.
All right.
You're live on the broadcast. Welcome very much. Don't talk about anything else until we talk to you. Is that okay?
Yep.
Take it away, mate.
All right. A really good race, Nathan. Putting in a good qualifying performance. I know that's something you've been working on, or at least thinking about working on. Was it nice to put it on the front row of the grid?
Yeah, that was very nice. It's not something that, as you say, it's not a strength of mine, and I do try and work on it. But yeah, I find I'm not very good on cold tires. But I think I did a really good job of warming them up on the outlap, and then yeah, when I was looking at my delta on the second lap, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a good one. So I was glad for that, and I think I've done a bit more practice on this track than any other one, so it sort of all came together.
We were talking on the broadcast about coming into those last 3 laps, where assuming you were thinking about where was going to be the spot that you could get the best run to try and make a move for the win. Where were you thinking, and did it all obviously change when you ran a little bit wide out of those triple right-handers?
Yeah, so that's why I went right pretty much. I was thinking about, I was saying to the guys about, second's nice, but do I try and go for first? And because I'm putting the pressure on the whole race, and I wasn't really phasing the guy, so I would have had to try and put it up, and I was just trying to get a good run out of either out of the first corner up on the straight, or just those 3 right-handers, onto the back straight there. But yeah, I pushed it a bit too much and went wide, and yeah, so settled back in at second.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it was a good race, and you were certainly not afraid to fill the mirrors with the nose of your skippy. There was many times where you were just a tenth or 2 tenths behind Ivan Fernandez, but as you said, it seemingly seemed relatively unfazed. So really good job to get on the podium though, and some really good SNL points, which was great. Is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yes, thank you to iRacing Podcast, Brad, Martin, and Wilco, and teammate Matty Mites, and also Jeremy Bush. So basically everyone that's listening to me speak right now. So thanks, guys.
No problems, mate. Jeremy Bush, we've got you live. How you going, mate?
I'm good, thanks, mate. It
You've
was
had better
a
nights, I assume.
first lap incident. Damaged my rear wing, which robbed me of speed for the rest of the race. I was sort of by myself for the remainder. But it was still good fun. I hadn't had a chance to race this track this much this week, so no, sort of not what I wanted to finish off, but yeah, all good.
Can I have your thoughts on the incident with Alexander?
I've just been probably a bit too cautious into that last corner. He came in with a bit of speed and sort of went straight into my rear wing. He sort of said to me that I was too slow. So I was being a bit cautious on the first lap, but yeah, that's what happens in these races, isn't it?
It is. It is. What were you expecting from your quali there? How'd you go with happy with 10th?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I didn't do my best laps, but I was hoping to stay out of trouble, as I said to the guys before the race. But that wasn't to be.
That's okay. So overall, Sunday Night Lights season number 25. I think we keep on getting told is run and done. How did you think your season went?
Well, this is my first time doing this. I wasn't sort of aware it was such a big event, but I've really enjoyed it. There's some really good results and not so good ones. So I'll be back next season hopefully, and have another crack.
Sweet. Now, Braden, do you want to take that Matthew Mites again? I want to hear about this incident.
Yeah, so Matthew, probably not the race that you were hoping for tonight. Things got underway and went pear-shaped pretty quickly. What happened?
Yeah, so I didn't qualify where I wanted to. I binned my second lap. I was up on my second quali lap, so I wouldn't have been where I was, but yeah, so I don't know where I would have ended up. But yeah, Hector basically had an accident. I think he was damaged. I went around the outside. He looked okay to me. I just thought he was going slow, and then he just plowed into the side of me. I don't think it was his fault. I just think he was damaged.
Yeah, it's always tricky when you don't get the qualifying right, because you sort of start off on the back foot, and when you get these incidents, you feel like I shouldn't have been there in the first place. How far up were you on that second lap?
Oh, I didn't really see it. I just saw green.
It's better than seeing red. It's better than seeing red.
Yeah, yeah. It was along the back of those three right-handers, and I was staying in fourth for the second right-hander, and I usually on colder tires go into third, but I stayed in fourth, pushed it too wide, and then just lost it into the fence.
Now, we haven't seen you in the SNL ranks all that often this season. Will you be looking to try and get a few more races in season 26?
I don't know. Maybe, depending on the tracks, I guess. Like, I don't really get a lot of time to do it, so I know I'll be practicing V8s a lot more moving forward. So, not too sure at this stage. But yeah, I had fun hunting down Mateo for about 11 laps and got him on the last lap, second to last lap. So that was fun.
That was actually going to be my next question. How hard is it to keep yourself interested at the end of the race when you've had the first couple laps like you had, but then obviously how good to feel when you actually got Mateo at the end?
Yeah, well, Akira was right in front of me. We came out together after we had our repairs, and I got him on the first lap. So then I just looked to the next guy and thought, okay, well, let's see how this goes. And I was gaining on him, Mateo, like every lap. Wasn't much, but it was just enough to sort of slowly creep in. And I think I caught up to him on the second to last lap. Managed to get him on the back straight, and then held it. But yeah, so that's what kept it interesting, just catching that guy.
Very nice. Well, hopefully we do get a chance to see you running around in the Sunday Night Lights, the second split, and maybe one day even the top split.
Yeah.
And we look forward to talking to you soon.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, Peter. That's about a wrap, I think, for Sunday Night Lights Split 2, the final round of the season. Maybe we'll be able to jump on board and get a few more of these done maybe next season.
Yeah, we'll see. Sunday nights is always a fun night to be out. I do mind racing, but it was fun talking about it. I just got to get a counter up in the middle of my screen telling me how many laps to go. That's my biggest problem right here with that. But it was good fun chatting and watching the race and seeing it from a different angle and seeing people like Vernie do his craft, and even people like Paul Wilson and Gary O'Brien, people that we don't normally see much of racing against. We actually just see the names on the page. It was good to actually watch a race and see how they battled out.
Absolutely. Where can people find you this week?
In my bed asleep most of the time. That's about all I can do right now. But Locked On Lads, Facebook, Locked On Lads, Twitch, Locked On Lads, YT on YouTube. That's the main places I'll be. I don't even know what we're doing. There's no Aussie Cast, Formula Skip Barber anymore. There's no Anscar. There's no nothing. But mainly you can find us on the Locked On iRacing podcast, which will definitely be back this week. So much news to talk about. So much things to listen to, races to recap, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a massive episode, so check it out on your local RSS feed or check it out on Spotify or iTunes.
Sounds good. All right. Enjoy your night, everyone, and we may be back one day. Who knows? Have a good night.
Doubt it. See ya.